Hakunev Shabbos, Young Israel, Mazel Tov to Mindy and Dr. Barry Eisman upon the birth of a grandson born to Orly and to Ellie Eisman. May Barry and Mindy continue to experience Nachas to Kedusha from the growing family in good health. Nichume Avelim condolences extended to Alan Doberman upon the passing of his beloved father, Mr. Irving Doberman. Alan got out from Shiva this morning. May Alan and Mishpacha experience nechama, good health, and nachas from their family. L'arich yamim v'shanim tovim. The division of parshios is not found completely in the Gemara. We assume that it's certainly not Misinai. The parshios psuchos and stumos, the paragraphs in the Chumash, so that does come from Sinai. But the various parshios and their names, the sedras, certainly don't. In fact, in Eretz Yisrael and Israel, they used to have a triennial cycle. They only finish once every 3 years. We find in certain sources different sedras are combined, are broken up. But that being said, there certainly is great significance in each division as we have it. There's each of our parshios, our sedras, was established by the Kadmonim from earlier generations, going back in all likelihood a couple thousand years at the very least. And the fact that Parshas Chayei Sarah contains only 2 stories, only 2 topics. Number 1, the passing and burial of Sarah Imeinu, and number 2, the search and ultimate success in choosing a wife for Yitzchak, indicates that these 2 episodes, these 2 topics, have a strong connection. It would appear that there are 3 specific lessons to be gleaned but from the inclusion of these 2 topics, and only these topics, in our Sadra. Number 1, Sarah Imeinu passes away, Avram cries, and he moves on. Is it tomorrow? He cried appropriately, he was maspid, and he continued in his life as he dwelled as was appropriate, and somehow was able to get up the next morning and move on. That it's cloudy, it's dark, he endured a loss, and he somehow picks himself up as a lesson for the rest of us. Number 2, Sarah Imeinu has passed on, but nonetheless, her impact will live on. She's not here physically, but she has given birth to Yitzchak. Yitzchak is now poised to begin his own family, and his own family will certainly be impacted by his late mother. And number 3, in what areas specifically is that impact felt? Notes the Drasha Saran as well as the Kliyakar, if I'm not mistaken. Avram Avinu could have very easily chosen a wife from those with whom he was close. There are hundreds, according to the Rambam, thousands, tens of thousands, who Avram had brought Tachas Kanfei Ashchina, to whom Avram had introduced to monotheism, religious individuals, believers, converts to monotheism. And yet Avram decides, you know what? I'm sending Eliezer back to my family to choose a wife from a family who are Ovdei Avodah Zarah, idolaters. It explains the Ran and the Kliyakar. Avram Avinu understood that there's a matter of religious beliefs, and there's a matter of deos and of midos, of character refinement. Religious beliefs can be taught. Character, midos tovos, can be taught, but ultimately are the product of one's upbringing, are the result of one's family, where one comes from, not yeshiva, not books. And as such, Avram understood, I could take a wife from those with whom I live, who may be more religious, who believe in God, who believe in Hashem, but midos, those I can't guarantee. I don't know where they came from. The deos I can teach. Deos I can teach, Midos I can't. So I'm going to go to my family. My family I know. My family, I know their character. I can vouch for their character. Deos, the religion, not so good, but I'll teach that. I taught all these people, I'll teach them also. Explains the Ran. Deos, religious beliefs, can be taught. Midos can also be taught. Midos can be changed, but it's much, much more difficult to do so. The Midos Tovos of Avram, of Sarah Imenu, are passed on to generations. The Midos of the respective families are passed on, and hence, even though Sarah Imenu is no longer with us, Avram understands that he have and will continue to impact future generations because midos come from the family, character refinement, proper behavior, derech eretz, all comes from the home. And that's something that we pass on to our children, to our grandchildren, to our great grandchildren, something that we leave behind for all future generations. Have a very good Shabbos.